jump into it, Tone. What can you tell us? All these reports. I mean, I know what can you tell us? Were you part of this coaching search over the last week?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I've been part of it. And listen, and I think Sean will probably answer all these questions later today. So I don't want to get too much of it, and so I'm not going to talk. I don't want to talk timeline and all that. That's Sean's
That's
job
fine.
to talk about.
I just want to know if you were part of it.
Yeah, and what you saw.
No different than. I mean, and Sean said from the beginning that he was going to. It would be a bigger circle of people involved this time, and he did exactly that. And the process, like any of these things, the process can be a straight line from point A to point B. It can be a little bit up and down and all over the place. You're dealing with people. It's a competitive process, and you go through it. I will say this: we got the guy we wanted.
Okay.
There's no doubt about that. We got the guy we wanted.
Good.
And I think after all the going through the process, at least for me and Shad and Liam and everyone else will talk today at the press conference. For me, it was very clear. At the end, I mean, you don't know until you do all. You have to go through the whole thing, and I think people always want answers. They want it to be quick. They want to know. There's speculation. I mean, it's fascinating. Just you read X of what people are saying. I'm like, that's not true. That's not true. And even we go all the way back to last week when I was getting just killed because of the conversation about Ben Johnson. And I'm like, everyone needs to take a deep breath. You don't know exactly. I'm not going to get into the details.
Okay.
There'll be probably a time for that. But no one outside of the very few people involved know the details of all that goes on and how these things go about and why you move on from one guy or why a guy moves on from you. It can be, by the way, it can be mutual or it can be, one part or the other. So, but it was fascinating, and it is always fascinating for me to be a part of any decision that's public, and then reading X and hearing what everyone's saying.
Tell me a little bit.
Sometimes, by the way, sometimes it's really, really close.
Yeah.
And you see these sources that are like these unknown, anonymous people on X, and they're like, how'd they know that? And then,
cousin's brother. My cousin's brother is Liam Coen.
That's right.
Hey, Tony,
you read other ones, and you're like, they have no idea what they're talking about.
Will you be at the press conference today?
I will be there today, yes.
Will you be on the dais, if you will?
Answering questions.
This is the honest truth. I have no idea.
Okay. That's fair.
I know I'm going. I'll be there.
Okay.
I don't know if I'll be sitting with you guys, if I'll be up on the dais. I don't know if I'll be I have no idea.
Wearing the gold jacket?
I will
Pride of the Jags. Wear the pride jacket.
Pride jacket.
I will not wear my gold jacket. I will not be wearing my tail jacket. This is I'll be just,
how about a Braves jersey? Will you wear a Braves jersey for me?
Braves jersey. Jones jersey.
Last part of business then. Do you have a role with the Jaguars going forward in a different capacity than what you're doing now?
As of this moment, Dan,
yes,
I am the radio guy.
Okay,
and then if Shad wants my advice and stuff and talk to me, I talk to him. But I will do whatever I can to help this organization.
I got it.
I think I've been consistent with that.
Yeah, sure.
Back here, nothing has changed in that manner.
Okay,
my role has not changed.
Okay,
could it in the future? I have no idea what the future holds. I just know this: I'm happy that I'm excited where we are as an organization.
Okay.
Watching and be a part of the process and seeing Shad lead the process. Like one of the things that I think was off reading an X is like somehow all of a sudden I was involved and I came in and
swooped in.
I like that.
I've had enough, Shad. Listen to me.
You should let that fly.
Yeah,
let that run. I am the hero.
That is not true. Thank you to all the Googans and the Jaguar fans that think that.
Much like you saved the drill and embrace it.
Yes. Well, that is true. I saved the drill. But that was Shad Khan leading the whole way.
All right,
He did a great job. I thought he did an outstanding job.
Okay.
All right. I got a couple of questions. It sounds like consulting basically is the extent of what you're doing. You're consulting
at this point.
I'm advising Shad as he wants advice. How about that?
Okay. All right. Well, Dan and I are free to advise you when you make that turn.
Okay. Thank you.
I have a couple of things, like curiosity things. One, I want your feeling, we don't have to get some more specific timeline or anything, about being involved on that side of something like that. I mean, you've done a lot, and you've had your own negotiations as a player, but I'm sure it had to be at least somewhat eye-opening. As much as we think we know, there's just that process and how it suited you. And then secondly, and more importantly, what is it about, you say we got our guy, we got the guy we want. What was it about Liam Coen that jumped out at y'all and has further impressed you, and then we'll go from there?
The process is interesting, and I think it's hard on both the clubs and the coaches that are trying to get the jobs because of the competing interests and the time of year that it happens. And what I mean by that is a lot of the guys you want are trying to go win a Super Bowl and preparing in the playoffs and everything else like that. And so there's very defined rules, obviously, of when you can talk and what you can do in person and what you can only do over Zoom and when you can do it. And so because of that, it makes it hard, I think, for both sides because, one, you want to go through the process. You want to have your list of candidates. You want to make sure you give each of them a fair opportunity to present and answer questions. And I think that's good. I mean, and a lot's been made about the Rooney Rule, and I'm sure it'll be looked at. But I'll say from our standpoint, the people that we brought in, we were serious about interviewing them and wanting to understand, are they the right person for the job? And they were there because, we thought that there was a chance that's the direction we could go. But you're competing, and then at the same time, you're competing with other clubs trying to hire maybe the same guys you are. And so it's really, it's probably, in a perfect world, the process would be kicked off right when the season was over, and you could go through it. That's not reality.
Not reality.
It's not. It's impossible. Teams have to make decisions, and you got to get ready for all the upcoming off season and everything else. So I understand that. So that was the interesting part because you're trying to manage schedules and maneuver, and then you have at the same time everything in the press going on. And boy, when people found out that, even before it became public, I was part of the process, going to be part of the process as advising. Mm-hmm. Even before that, just because of my position in the organization jobs open and my phone, I became very popular.
Yeah.
People had my phone number that I had no idea how the heck they got it.
Oh, that was me. Sorry.
Thank you, Jeff.
I felt like you ghosted me a little bit.
I didn't ghost you.
You lost our number, apparently.
I was trying to get a job. Quickly slide.
No, I did not ghost I didn't ghost anybody. Okay. I didn't want to come on the radio Friday morning. I was a little tired Friday morning.
I hear you.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, I said to Tony, I said, come on Friday morning.
I know.
Yeah, he texted me, Brian. I'm like, no.
I thought he was well within his right. I was encouraging him. Yeah.
Yes, and I might have got on a plane with my wife and just left town this week.
That's probably not a bad move.
Yeah,
not a bad move.
But let's go to the more important thing.
Yeah.
Process is the process. We can go through that.
Yeah, tell me about Coen. Why Jag fans should feel like we're going 11-5 and into the playoffs next year.
Oh.
So I didn't know anything about him, and going through the process, and initially it was Trent and Shad going through, and they were doing the Zoom interviews, and I was just having conversations with both of them, as many people were behind the, talking through and everything else. And so, but I got friends in Tampa and friends who had been in LA with them, and everyone I called, everybody, and people that are good friends of mine that would tell me the truth and have told me the truth that other people I've called about, I'm assuming were truthful like every other time, and everything was positive. Guy's guy, great leader, high energy. From a football standpoint, came into Tampa and took him from 32nd in the run until top 5, pretty much same personnel, except outside of one running back they drafted, Bucky Irving. Mm-hmm. But really understood the run game, pass game, the marriage of it, just like what he did for their offense. Talked off the, he was off the charts. That's how they talked about him. So, everything was very positive. So that was great. But you hear a lot of good things about all different guys we're interviewing. And you hear some negatives that you want to look into and red flags, and people have their own experiences. And so that was super positive. Then when we got into in-person interviews, from the moment he walked in, he owned the room, and had a great plan for how he saw the team. Obviously, a big part of this whole thing was, Trevor Lawrence. We've invested a ton of money in Trevor, and we believe, and you've heard me say this on this, I said we will win a Super Bowl championship trophy, a Lombardi trophy with Trevor Lawrence. I believe that from day one. I still do. And so you want to understand, okay, how do you see him? Because what if they see him differently? And what's the plan? And what do you think about the personnel? And what do you think about
his response was positive?
I mean, unreal and detailed and I was like, okay. And you just go through it and you have a conversation. And I knew, and I'm not saying I'm 100% right on this, but whether it's in football or in business, which I've been running and doing most of my time, as
you're a titan of industry now. I think we all know
I wouldn't say titan, but
close enough.
You get a sense pretty quickly, and I typically think the first impression, kind of your first gut feeling, is a lot of times right. At least for me, it is. And I remember sitting there 30, 60 minutes into this interview, I'm like, this dude is like, he's a head coach, and he's gonna be a good head coach. And you just get that feeling. And I thought a lot of the people we talked to and a lot of people I've met during this process are probably going to be good head coaches, have a chance to be good head coaches. But for us, it was clear to me that Liam was the right guy and the right choice. And I'm glad that we were able to get through it and figure it out. And then obviously him and Shad and all that negotiation, Shad leads that. And as Shad led the whole thing. And it ended up working out. And I think we're in a really good spot now. Proof will be in the pudding. You got to prove it out.
Yep.
It's a fun moment. It's good. It's exciting. It's new, and we'll enjoy it over this offseason and get going. But then ultimately, all of us are going to be sitting there. All right, time to win some football games.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing that is most important. And as we talk through the process, you want to get it right, and you want people excited. And I think our fans are excited, and they should be excited about Liam and his family coming to Jacksonville and being the head coach. But ultimately what I want, and I think what we all want and what Shad wants, I want to be excited a year from today.
Right.
Because we had a great season. And hopefully
can it happen that fast, Tony? Is that the belief for him? Do you get that sense from him? This isn't some big project. Let's go win?
Yeah.
Close enough? And I don't want you to put pressure on him. I don't want you to betray confidence.
I'll say consistent. I'll say this was consistent through the whole process. And I think this was our mindset going into it. We're not hiring a coach to come rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a rebuild.
Good.
This is, hey, we have talent. We have some holes too. We've talked about it over the years in the Monday morning. We have some holes, but we have talent. And we were not a 4-win roster.
Right.
And so the expectation is we're hiring a coach to come get it right, clean it up, fix it. And we expect to win the division next year. We expect in December. My expectation. I won't speak for anyone else. Shad,
I'm down.
I'm sure he'll talk about his views. My expectation, in my view, is next December we should be playing football games to win the division and talk about seeding.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we should be. That's our talent level, our team. We should be in December playing games that are trying to win the division and talk about playoff positioning. That's the expectation.
I like
mine,
that.
at least.
When you sit through the interview process, Tone, does it like I'm fascinated by that part of it. I'm just curious, how long do you spend with a guy in an interview process when you bring him in, you sit down, and does it fly by when it's a good feel? Gosh, I can't believe we've been talking for 3 hours. Let's take a break.
Yeah, it's the meetings are long enough where there's a good chance you're going to take a break to go to the bathroom.
Okay. That's fair.
But he goes over his stuff. Does it include video presentation, a film, or you keep it, just by?
Yeah, and I don't want to betray any individual guy who did it, but I'll say this: it's wide open.
Okay.
It can be PowerPoints.
However you choose to showcase yourself.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's smart.
And I will say this: the candidates, they were good.
Okay.
The guys who we met with did a great job.
All right.
A great job. And I see why they are they were at the table, and they were.
All right, let me ask you one more thing. Do you expect a general manager fairly quickly? Or do you think that the process, how far along are we in that process?
Well, right now the papers are at Tony's attorney's office, and they have to make sure the language is correct.
No. Let me say this: I will not be in the GM process.
Okay, yeah. Nick Saban wasn't going to Alabama either.
You know what I say? I'm not. My hat's not in the ring to be the next GM.
All right.
I might be part of the process and all that, but I'm not putting my hat.
Well, could you put a good word in for Dan?
Oh, no.
Yes.
Not interested.
When Sean asked me, I'm going to say, you really should talk about Dan and Jeff, combo GM.
I mean, you hear them every Monday. I mean, they got all the answers.
Just listen to them on Monday every morning.
With Dan Hickey and Jeff Prosser.
I mean, he was there. Sean knows.
He knows.
Yeah, he knows.
If you know, you know. Tony, thanks for.
But I'll say this: I think the hiring of our GM will happen, in a judicious manner.
Okay.
It's not going to be forever. But I will say this: it's not the focus, and the focus right now is on Liam and the excitement of him being our head coach and getting that going. And the GM process and all that will be addressed probably pretty quickly afterwards.
All right.
As far as getting the process going, because we have to go through a process. You have obviously the Rooney Rule. We want to make sure we do get an exhaustive list, go through it, and understand who's the best fit for us, because there's a lot of great guys out there, and we'll go through a process. And I'll say this: I thought the way that, in my opinion, and people can disagree with me, but I thought the way that the Jaguars handled this whole entire process with transparency and announcing stuff on Twitter and who we were interviewing and when interviews were completed, I thought that was very well done and transparent. And my guess is, it'll probably be like that for the GM search as well.
All right. Well, appreciate you, Tony. Thanks for taking some time this morning. Enjoy the press conference. Hopefully the bullets don't fly at you too fast.
Are you guys going to be down there?
I'm going to be there.
I'll see.
Jeffrey?
I'll see.
Come on, Jeff.
I'll see what's going on. I got stuff, Tone. You don't even know. Anyway, we'll see.
Well, who are you playing golf with?
I'm not golfing. If I was golfing, I would say, nope, Tony, I'm golfing. But,
I know it's not me. I didn't get invited.
Well, I mean, you're always invited. You know that, friend. You're playing more golf than I am, and you're not playing at all.
I'm not playing.
Yeah, I really hardly have played. Anyway, that's here nor there. Good luck moving forward. Get us a winner. Playoffs next year. I'm going to go ahead and get my tickets.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
All right,
thanks, Tone.
There's Tone.
Hey, Mia here, and thanks so much for watching 1010XL Jaguars. For even more coverage of the Big Cats, be sure to subscribe to 1010XL Jaguars.